Welcome to What's Up Wednesday. I'm Mike Paul, your host, and it is my pleasure to welcome today to our studio the co-founder of the XSpace Group, Byron Smith.
Hi.
Welcome to our studio today. If you stick around and watch this interview, you're going to learn about a really fascinating new project that is being built here in Austin, and we're going to learn a lot about that today from Byron. So stick with us, and we're going to start off, though, with just a short little video that Byron, you provided to us. Just going to give you a quick little intro to the project. So if we can go ahead and take a peek at that. Let's learn a little bit about XSpace. So tell us about what is XSpace? I mean, how did you come up with this name, and really what does it stand for?
XSpace is an adaptation of a product that evolved in Australia for the last 15 years. So it's not necessarily a new concept, it's an adaptation of a winning formula that we've developed in Australia, and we're taking it to America. So that's sort of where it came from originally. So this is a developed asset class there, and this is not something that we had a beer and at 3 a.m. thought, oh, XSpace is a good idea. This is a highly evolved sort of a market adaptation. So that's where it came from. XSpace itself, we've gone above and beyond from the ones we do in Australia, particularly with the lounge and some of the things that we do within the facility. So that's where it comes from. As far as the name goes, it was actually a placeholder name, and we did a branding session, and I spent some time in London, and we brought the ex-chief marketing officer of Aston Martin in to do our branding, and he just went through the process, and after 2 or 3 days he said, this is a great name, and it stuck, and it just kept on going, and it got a life of its own. So wow. That's how we got to those 2 points.
That's terrific. And you have a partner in your business.
Yep.
And your partner is Tim Manson, and he's also from Australia, I understand.
Yeah, we've known each other for 20 years. We played rugby against each other, and he went to a rival high school, but I think mine was better.
So let's get into a little bit about this project, because it is unique. It is the first time that anyone has done this, to my knowledge, certainly in Austin, but I think even through the United States, from what I understand.
Yeah, I mean, there are depending on the lens in which you look at it, but there are variations of these things. You can have, high-end sort of car condos that start at $1 million, particularly out in California. Some airport hangars type of, almost verging on light industrial. But yeah, as far as a product that goes from 300 square feet to 3,000 square feet, which is essentially where self-storage ends and light industrial starts, there's, it's a pioneer in that sort of sense. Yeah.
We have a couple of images here we're going to pull up here, talk a little bit about the project. So this is that's what the building's going to look like.
That's what it's going to look like on the outside. That's the exterior throughout the day, and that shows at the top left there, those people standing there, that's the lounge. That's a 3,000 square foot lounge that looks over Lake Travis.
One of the things that's unique about this space is different than traditional storage or even a lot of mixed-use office space where tenants come in and leasing. People in your project are actually going to be owning their own space.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is all condominiumized. This picture here is an artist impression of just trying to bridge that gap for people's imagination and how they could potentially use their space, because we're providing a blank canvas, but all our units are condominiumized, so you own it. It's a real estate asset.
And we're going to dive into that a little bit more in just a moment. And then just another external shot. This is pretty cool. This is what
looks like this is the sun goes down from the other side, from the other external. Yeah.
All right, we're going to get you some more photos here in a little bit. What drew you to Austin as the place you wanted to build the first of these? I mean, what was it about our community or about Austin that was attractive to you?
There's a little bit of a story. Tim and I was in New York at the time, Tim was in LA, and we had decided let's do this. And we started looking in LA and New York and quickly found out that was a major pain in the butt and just wasn't going to happen. So I was down in Houston and over Thanksgiving, and I think I was at a Pappasito's, and I was over that sort of strip mall area and having a margarita, and I looked and there was a dense commercial ugly building, a church with a school in it, and the school was attached to that church, and then a strip club. And I went, that's a bit on the nose, isn't it? Like, what's going on here? And the guy next to me said, well, welcome to Houston, there's no zoning. So I called up Tim and we did a 2-week trip of Austin and Houston. Once we got to Austin, we sort of got a feel for, okay, this is a bit more our vibe. And then we ended up at this site, which was zoned ETJ. So the zoning was good, but we looked at the demographics and we spent some time up here, and this was the most like for like group of people that we sold to in Australia that we would sell to here. So we came up here and we just had that gut feel that was just like, yeah, this is where we need to be.
The project, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a moment, is under construction, and it is located adjacent to Lake Travis, and it really, I think, in a pretty good location because it's certainly north-south. You've got the main thoroughfare through there.
And it's a great location.
So this was the area that you felt would be attractive, or at least serve your demographics for the type of buyer.
Yeah, I think it just, I think this whole area is a little underserved in that space, but also it's a beautiful location. There's quite an anti-downtown sentiment, particularly in this area. So if we offer something that, allows you to be productive, that marries with sort of your lifestyle that already exists without having to go downtown, then that seems to be a winner for us.
And before we get into a little more photos and a little more detail, I just wanted to talk to you about your business itself. So you and your partner started this company. It's called XSpace Group.
Yep.
And so just from a business standpoint, because one of the things we always like to share kind of interesting business stories and challenges that we've all gone through as business owners. And so what has the journey been like for you guys in creating this concept and kind of getting to the point where you are now, where you're actually constructing your first project?
So what, the biggest challenges, I suppose?
But just, talk about the journey, maybe challenges, the things that most unexpected thing that maybe you encountered, and because, we all have a unique journey through our...
Yeah. Well, I think the interesting thing about our journey was we'd have started different businesses before, and our chairman has been doing business with my dad for 37 years. So a unique thing to this business is it's a quasi-family business between my business partner and our chairman. And so when we went through the rough times, it was, we're all in it together. So we sort of stuck together quite a bit. And I think from like the biggest challenge we found was putting it into a box, because you go to the fire department and you say, this is what we're doing, and they can't put you in, they can't regulate you. Mm-hmm. So we literally rewrote the rule book on the fire code for this building. You go to a debt provider and they're like, that doesn't fit into any boxes. We're not going to give you tens of millions of dollars of debt. And so between those two things, we had to navigate and be very resilient, particularly as COVID hit and we were just starting construction. But, there were a lot of, challenging times, but I think going back to the top of my point, which is, having that good partnership in place, I think was, vital to navigate it.
Sounds like it's been something that this is the culmination of maybe 2-3 years of effort at this point?
The short answer to that question is we bought the land in 2019, and then we got permitted through the end of 2019 into 2020, and as soon as COVID hit, the ability to get us permitted that was a challenging time. So it's been sort of since the idea came around in 2018, the execution started in 2019, and there's been a lot of interest, a lot of sort of curiosity over that period of the last 2 years of what is going on, what's happening. And now that we're building, it's gone, and I suppose this is the leap of faith that we took, which was like, yeah, this is cool, this is interesting, but when you actually put your money down and you have to do it, you hope that translates into success. So now that we've started building, we've sold, I think we've sold 14 units in 14 days since, in the last 14 days. Wow. So it's happening, and it's going to be a big success.
So it's like, once you start building that momentum.
It's momentum.
And once people see their shovels in the ground and start to see the actual reality of this thing coming up, and we're going to do a few pictures here a little later on this, it definitely generates interest. And I think the point from earlier was that with all the different different articles and information that's been put out there on this, it seems like there's been a pretty good reception from the community, the business community, into this concept.
It's been particularly since the start of this year, it's been phenomenal, the interest and the people that are coming. And if I take a side note from what we're actually doing here, we're building a brand, and we're building XSpaces all throughout Texas as a platform, and then we're going to take that platform and grow nationally. And each XSpace has to represent its community, has to have the highest caliber people in there, both individuals and businesses. So for that whole business to work, this Lakeway project, it has to be a shining beacon of, that's what an XSpace is. That's the caliber of individuals, that's the caliber of businesses. So that's why, we're so obsessive about making sure that we curate who's in there, and we engineered the living crap out of it, because it's just got to be the best of everything, so we can point to that as a halo product.
We're just kind of whip through some of these, and there's some artist renditions in here.
That's an artist rendition of the lounge, which is actually quite lifelike as far as its proportions and the way it will look.
And the lounge is going, and I think we actually have some.
There's another render of the lounge further down.
We'll come up here. So let's move forward on this. And then I think I asked you, what does the X stand for?
Yeah, well, that's the issue. That's one of the biggest issues we've had, actually. You talk about challenges. One is, how do you frame something that can be anything to anyone? That's been sort of, I think, the largest challenge that we have today, and still sort of almost solve the problem on. But we try here to just sort of say, look, your X can be anything. And
in this space, and in reality, the people that are buying into this project are from all different types of businesses, with the exception of a few that I know that you will not allow in there, and I'll ask you about that.
yeah.
But generally speaking, everybody from a man cave that somebody just wants to own and get a place, that they can spend some time to creative space and storage and cars.
We got like tech executives who put a 3D printer into prototype. We got a woman who's got a little succulent cactus business. We got a real interesting mix. We've got some ex-pro athletes that just want to get out of the house, and we got people that just want to. People are looking at this as if, well, in this Austin market, how do I get on the property ladder?
The project is 4 levels. The first 3 levels are the actual units themselves. Correct. And then the 4th level is the lounge, and that will have kind of some expansive views of the Mansfield Dam and
very nice views.
Yeah. And so level 3 is what we're looking at right now. Is I think my understanding is it's more like for kind of Class A type office.
Level 3 attracts a premium because each unit, for the most part, has windows, so you're going to get good views on level 3. It attracts more sort of the personal user, or we've got a high-profile podcaster going in there up there, so less heavy use, I would suppose, goes on the 3rd floor.
Yeah, and just in full disclosure, we are working with you guys to hopefully be a part of this as well.
Absolutely.
So we're excited about that. We see a lot of benefits here. So describe a little bit of what we're looking at here.
This is just trying to break down the three types of people that buy X spaces. So you've got a professional person, which is someone that I sort of alluded to, has a small business, doesn't want the usual sort of tin shed in the middle of nowhere, but has a interesting and cool business, but has that intersection of personal. Then you've got personal usage, which so we touched upon, anywhere from a man cave to wine storage. A few car guys going in there that have nice car collections. And then we're seeing a bunch of investors coming in that, again, as I sort of said, for 100, 200, 300, 400 grand, you can get on the property ladder here and get a decent return. The nuance or the caveat to that is we only allow 1 year leases, so we're going to keep you'll still get a high even if they're leasing these out, you're still going to get a high caliber tenant as you would in an A-class condominium building. This is not month by month. This is again sticking to that ethos of A-grade condominium building.
And there are a few types of businesses that will not be allowed to operate there. Do you have an example maybe of?
The best example is like a mechanic shop. We don't allow anything that is a dirty use. So where there's a lot of fluids, tinkering on your car on a Sunday with your car collection, of course, that's fine. But anyone who wants to do that, it's an inappropriate use. It's not good for that business. It's not good for us. I mean, to put a finer point on it, we are a product that is not retail and it's not residential. So any real use outside of retail and residential.
So it probably wouldn't be appropriate. It's not really a thing where you have a lot of foot traffic coming in.
It's not. If you have a business, this is an invite only. Do you want to see our warehouse, or do you want to see our space? And for very much invite only sort of approach if you have a business.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the amenities, because one of the things that was certainly intriguing to us when we took a look at this was that you've got this combination of ownership, that you own your own unit, and then you have some really cool amenities that you guys are building into this. So let's talk a little bit about some of the unique aspects of this project and what's going to be included.
I suppose the big ticket item on as far as the building goes is the 4th floor business lounge. That's going to be 3,000 square feet. It's going to have about 1,000 square feet of terrace. It's going to have a open island kitchen. It's going to have big screens. It's going to have the ability to have a conference room. So it's very much trying to be as flexible as possible between that business and personal use. So you'll see people on a Thursday night go and watch the football, and then they might do something on a Saturday as well. But then, for example, if you wanted to take an important meeting, this is the type of place you would take it during the daytime.
Maybe try a little bit of barbecue too, I understand.
Yeah, well, the other one which I was going to get to is that Casey Studdard of Whitfield's Barbecue, he played on the 05 UT team and played for the Houston Texans amongst others. He's got a great barbecue place, and he's going to be doing his first expansion on our site. So he'll have he's a unit owner himself, and he's going to be on the site with a food truck. So we're going to have some pretty great barbecue up there as well, which you can take up to the lounge.
The building will have security, so.
Yeah, that's the biggest focal point as far as what we're putting into the building is, and my business partner will probably get angry at me because I got the number wrong here, but it's somewhere between almost 40 cameras throughout and outside the building. So every inch of this building is monitored. You can't, as an example, you own a level 1 unit, I own a level 2 unit. You can't drive up to level 2 with the security we have in place. So we're pretty big on that.
All right, so this is a couple more pictures. So
yeah.
Levels 1, level 2 are, again, mixed use.
Mixed use here. We've got a wine enthusiast who's got something down the bottom there. We've got an e-gaming, e-sports unit to the left. The person on the right is got a home office. They've just using it for sort of general storage and you know, it's better off to, you know, economically better off to probably buy one of these things than be a long-term renter of self-storage. So,
and a couple other things too to note here, that you can drive your vehicle up to your unit.
Yep. So that red F-150 there, that's just parked outside his unit, and that's a 25-foot drive aisle, so 2 or 3 other cars can comfortably just get past there.
I noticed you use the Ford F-150. When I moved here a few years back, the first thing I noticed was that every other vehicle out here was a Ford F-150.
I'd love to be an F-150 salesman in Austin, Texas, because they are everywhere.
I think it's the official state vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, for sure.
Absolutely.
The other thing that's kind of interesting here is that these are the units themselves, and are you've got very high ceilings.
Yep.
They're what, 17.5 feet, I believe.
It's 18 foot with 17.5-foot clearance, because there's a small little beam at the top. Yeah, so this is very high.
And so in these pictures, for example, a unit owner could install a mezzanine level, so
Yep.
they actually could have 2 levels in there and maximize the amount of space that they have available to them.
Absolutely, you can get an extra 50% of square footage by putting 50% mezzanine in the units, and I think. I don't know the exact number, but I'm going to say somewhere around 90% of people taking up the mezzanines. So yeah.
Some of the amenities in the units, sizes range from, I think 300 feet.
The starting point is 300 square feet. The 2,500 square feet, it's a good thing to bring up, actually. Our walls are non-load bearing. So we've seen people buy a unit and then buy the next one next to them to rent it out. There's some people now looking at buying 3 or 4 units in a row. So we're seeing people who now understand the product that this is a very flexible space. So each wall doesn't mean you just can't take up a certain amount of space.
You're going to have high-speed internet data available to...
Yeah, the fastest internet known to humanity, we'll put in there. So you get that's on Wi-Fi, and then each unit has a conduit tray, so you can hardwire into that as well.
And that's good news for us in particular.
Yeah,
where we are really users of of
Yeah.
internet speed for sure. So that's a great asset. And also the AC system, the HVAC system, I think is unique in this project as well.
Yep, it's it's again really over-engineered. It runs along each aisle. Each drive aisle on each side is individually monitored. The building is slightly pressurized, and it also sucks out the fumes. So you can have an F-150 with its engine on all day, and it'll suck all those fumes out without any drama whatsoever.
Just showing you that there is the ability to bring a vehicle, and if you that's a use that you want to do.
That's a 500 square foot unit that just gives you a little context to what it would look like with I think that's a 30% mezzanine.
Now, the business lounge, that's going to be on the top level.
Yep.
And maybe just go over this a little bit about what types of amenities are going to be available for owners and tenants in there.
Yeah, so it's 24-hour, 24/7 access for all occupiers of the facility. This picture you see, this view you see, is an actual drone shot of the actual level of the view. So that's a real view that you'll see over from the lounge. You see the island there, which is the kitchen. On the far side, you'll see 2 screens back to back. Around the corner, you can't see it as a conference room. And then there's showers, male and female showers, quite nice amenities there. So if you go for a cycle or you want to change legitimately, you can do all that. But the best way to frame this one is, imagine just going to any good Grade A condominium building down on Rainy Street, one of the new builds. That's the sort of quality and feature level that you should sort of think about.
Fantastic. Well, that looks really enticing, and I know where the location of this project is. There is some great views out there.
Oh, it'll be great. It'll be really great.
It'll be terrific to have access to that, and there's a conference room as you mentioned in there. Somewhere.
Yeah, just
right
around the
that,
other side, there's a big conference room with a screen in it as well.
All right, and then just, I'm going to whip through a few of these, but level 1 is where you enter from ground level, and
Yep.
again, different uses.
Again, just giving some examples of how you might sort of use it. All 300 units, the car stacker there. These are the smallest units. These are 300 square feet. So, just giving an example of like what the entry level is on that. So yeah, these are just the floor plans, mainly for sort of indication purposes. We have more detailed ones. But that just gives you an idea of how the units are broken up and where they are in the building. Yeah.
Right, level 1, level 2,
level 3, and then there's the next one. Next one along is just a breakdown of. If you go to the next one, it's a zoomed in version. That gives you actually the look at the conference room there behind the kitchen.
Right, so
So that gives you a feel for the lounge there.
laid out really nice, and an owner that's in the
Yep.
project would be able to utilize that conference room.
Yeah, any time of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then there is a property owner association it's just to make sure that everything is attended to within the project. And
Yeah, there's an HOA, as you would in any condo building. It's about 100. If you have a 300 square foot unit, it's about $100 a month, give or take.
This is a few shots that actually we took recently for you guys, and a few aerial shots. And this was, I think, from around the end of June, I believe. So this is looking from behind the project, out towards the lake, kind of an aerial view here over the top, and there we go. And then you can see the project on the right.
Yeah, you can see really basically level 1 there. All those are the retaining walls, and that's level 1. So that also gives you a flavour for how high those ceilings are. So that's level 1 being constructed. Yeah.
All right, and then we also took a panoramic shot, which I'm going to pull up here in just a moment. So it's sort of a unique shot from a drone perspective in here, and we're going to be posting this link on this video or in the caption below. So anybody who's interested in checking this out, and there's even a link in here. You'll be able to click on this, and it'll take you right to the XSpace website, so where you can get more information as well. But this was taken again in I think late June as the project was progressing. And so you can kind of see where it's positioned in here. This is 620, and then the dam is off in the distance up there. They're just down the road, actually.
Yeah, just down the road. I mean, it looks straight down into Lake Travis.
And then the lake, and then kind of just panning around here a little bit, looking up. So some beautiful hill country views.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, this is a kind of a cool way to check it out, and we hope to actually update this periodically for you guys as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come together really quickly. We're doing once we lay that foundation there, it's going to go up very quickly. Point worth noting actually is where, and we did some research on this, so we're pretty confident about it with our construction partner, that we're going to be doing the largest tilt wall panels ever erected in Texas. They're going to be about 70 foot high. So you'll see probably in the coming month and a half, you'll see the building, and then all of a sudden you'll see it all come up really quickly.
What are have you developed specific company values? I mean, what are your company values? What would you like people to know about XSpace Group and really what you stand for?
That's a good question. I suppose what we're trying to achieve with the company is to create a blank canvas for people to pursue their passions. That's what we're trying to achieve with the company, and how successful we are is about to be determined. As far as what we the values that we have internally, pretty simple. We just take a no arsehole approach to who we deal with and what we do. And as I sort of said, the biggest thing that we have, because we've known each other for so long, is trust. So we don't really have to, necessarily reflect back on what are our values, but if you sort of look at it from a third party perspective, the biggest thing that we have is trust.
And trust, obviously, one of the most important.
Yeah, I mean, it's
aspects
everything. It's sort of it's the trump card of any adversity and any way of moving forward.
Let's maybe look forward a little bit here. This is the first project. This is going to be the opportunity for you guys to really show proof of concept, and so far so good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely getting the interest. But what is your roadmap? If you fast forward a couple of years, what would you like to be doing or to adding? I know you talked about additional locations.
Yeah. We have a very clear vision. One is to get this project done and done right. Second part is lay a platform in Texas, which we are scaled and geared to do with our partners. And we're going to be announcing one in Houston, one in Dallas, and probably a couple more in Austin by the end of the year, maybe even sooner. And we're going to do that as quickly as we can. And we're going to lay that platform for 2022. And then we're going to take the brand national off that Texas platform. We think we can do 50 nationally, probably more, but we have a clear roadmap for that. And we have a interim roadmap of probably 7 sites that we're gaining control of. So those announcements will come probably after summer. After we don't want to distract ourselves with this and just get this right, but after summertime you'll start seeing some announcements on those projects, particularly Houston is the next one off the rank.
If somebody wanted to find out more information about this project, where can they get additional information?
Everything's on our website at xspacegroup.com. Contact details. We hold back a little bit of detail because we want to understand what people are going to use the space for. Just getting in contact that way on our website will provide you with all the information.
And we have at the bottom of the screen here, we'll have all that contact information.
Cool. Yeah, we have a great team, so I would move quickly though, because we're selling them.
There's a total of 106?
106 in total, and I think we've approached 50% sold, and I think we'll be sold out, sometime after summer.
Okay, so Byron, any final words? Anything else that you would like to convey about the project or XSpace Group?
I think the one thing that we've sort of said internally is that, and this forum is really good, is we're about, and particularly myself, it's about educating people. We're all about how do we educate people about what we're doing. We're not here to sort of sell things. We're just saying, look, we're doing this. This is what we're trying to achieve, going through what we talked about today. So for me, it's all about educating the community. And if I can do that, the other commercial elements will fall into place.
Great. Well, it sounds good. Good luck to you guys. We're excited to be a part of this project as well, and we know this is going to be successful, and really appreciate you coming in today and joining us and giving us some more information about XSpace Group.
Yeah, thank you very much.